So this... Sorry, there's some douchebags driving.
Loud noises.
Driving outside. That's what a small penis sounds like. Hey, it's Megan.
And Sue in the restricted section.
And today we are going to talk about the books we read in August.
Yes, we are.
Yes.
And we're going to drink a beer that we have had before on the channel, but not this year.
In a while. Yes.
And we're just wishing for fall, so we're going to have Mr. Pumpkin
From Mother's,
which is a local brewery here in Springfield.
Yes, cheers. They have the pumpkin beers out and we are excited.
Yes, I'm a basic white girl. I love my pumpkin beers.
Same, girl, same.
We just saw the meme that's been going around that's like, IPAs are just pumpkin spice lattes for white men. And I'm like, I like both.
And I'm starting to like IPAs, so I'm just like the most basic white that ever did white.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this definitely isn't my favorite pumpkin beer.
I really like it, but it's not the best pumpkin beer I've had.
No. It's a little bit spicier than I like. I like it a little sweeter.
It's pretty spicy.
Very spicy.
It's spicy.
Alright, so the first few books that I'm going to talk about are books I read for Booktubeathon, so I'll probably just go through them quickly. And because, you know, if you want to see more, you can watch our Booktubeathon wrap-up.
Which we will link below.
Yes. So, my first book I read was The Time Machine by H.G. Wells, and I really enjoyed this. I gave it 4 stars.
The first book I finished was The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid, which I talked about in our Booktubeathon wrap-up, so I will not talk a whole lot about it here, but I fucking loved it, and I gave it 5 stars.
It's fantastic.
It's fantastic.
The next book I read was The Poet and the Flea, Volume 1 by G.E. Gallis, which is like a graphic novel type of thing about, it's a reimagining of the life of William Blake, and I quite enjoyed this as well. I do think I need to read a little bit more William Blake to appreciate it more, but I gave it 4 stars, I believe.
Nice.
Next, also for Booktubeathon, I read Fortune Box by Madeline Swan. And this is a collection of short stories, but they're all interconnected. It's about these people get a package in the mail, and when they open it, something strange happens. It's different for everyone, but like something strange happens to them, and it could be good, it could be bad. But I really love this. I found it like fascinating and just really interesting. It's like bizarro fiction, so it's weird as fuck, but yeah, I loved it. I gave it 5 stars.
Very nice. I read 4 volumes of The Wicked and the Divine in the month of August because I started reading them and then I just really fell in love with the series, and so I went out and bought as many as I could and just read them. This is a story of like I can't remember how many years, like every 70 years, every 90 years or something.
I thought you said 90 before, but
I probably did.
I haven't read them.
I think it's like every 90 years the gods return. But they embody, like they possess the bodies of teenagers. And so these teenagers, once they are like possessed by the gods, only live for 2 years and then they die. But while they are like possessed by the gods, they become famous. They're like performers because that's the way they like get adoration like gods need. But some of them have been getting killed, and so there's some shenanigans afoot, and we must learn what shenanigans are occurring. But yeah, the artwork of this is beautiful, the story's really cool, and I really dig these.
Sorry for the video game noises.
Sorry, it's just sound effects.
Next, also for Booktubeathon, I read most of my Booktubeathon books at the beginning of August. This is also for Booktubeathon. I read Warm Bodies by Isaac Marion, which is a zombie kind of love story.
Zombie romance.
And I quite enjoyed this. I gave it 4 stars, I believe. I do believe.
You can probably go ahead and go again.
Alright.
Go ahead
again for Booktubeathon, I read The Lathe of Heaven by Ursula K. Le Guin. which is about a man who can dream things into existence, which can have like dire effects on the world. And I actually really liked this, which I was excited because I have not
had a love relationship.
Yeah, I have not enjoyed Ursula K. Le Guin in the past, but I really wanted to like her, and I really liked this, and I ended up giving it 4 stars as well.
So next I read The Book of Essie, which is by Megan McLean Weir. I got this in one of my Book of the Month Club boxes, which I'm loving right now. So this is the story of a girl who...
this is the story of a girl.
Cried a river and drowned the whole world. Anyway, her family is on a reality television show called like Six for Hicks or something. And it's like one of those religious families who has a bunch of kids.
Like the Duggars.
Like the Duggars. And she ends up getting pregnant. And she's trying to decide, well, her family and the producers are trying to decide if she will keep it or if she will get an abortion or how they will handle it. And she seems not to have much of a choice in the matter, but then you learn that perhaps she has orchestrated certain things as much as she could have. There's a lot of things going on behind the scenes, and there's a lot more to it than meets the eye at first. I don't want to spoil it because it's really good.
Sounds intriguing.
But yeah, it is really, it's really tragic. There's some shitty things, like really horrible things that happen in it. But ultimately, like, she comes out on top, and it's really good. I want to say more about it, but I won't because I don't want to spoil it because I think people should actually read it. But yeah, I gave it 4 stars. I really liked it.
And this one is my last one from Booktubeathon. But it's The Little Prince by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. And I read this before when I was like probably 13 or so, but I wanted to reread it. And it's delightful. I love this little story. If you've never read it, definitely pick it up. It takes no time at all to read. I loved it. I gave it 5 stars.
Very nice.
And then this one I read outside of Booktubeathon, and it's The Deep Sea Diver Syndrome by Serge Brussolo, and this is translated from the French. I'm sorry, any French people watching.
Apologies.
By Edward Gauvin. Also, I didn't mention this, of course, is also translated from French by Catherine Woods. But this one, I kind of didn't realize that I picked, because I was originally going to read this for Booktubeathon, but I didn't have time, so I read a smaller one instead. But I didn't realize that I kind of picked 2 books that had similar premises. Because this is also about a man who, he is a professional dreamer, and in this future world, these dreamers can like manifest these it's like their art of this time. So like the kind of stuff we think of art today is like garbage to them. Like there's even a scene where they're like, they just like cleared out this museum and like left all the shit out in the street to get ruins.
Gotta get this out of here.
But yeah, it's about this guy who he dreams these things into existence, and in his dreams he's a jewel thief. I don't even know what else to say about, I mean, I could explain more, but it really doesn't matter because this book was not good. I read it for my Read Harder challenge for Book of Genre Fiction in Translation. It sounded like the premise sounded really good, but it was just mostly really dumb. Like it just seemed pointless and stupid. There was also some like sexism, racism, all those things sprinkled throughout.
Just kind of put in there.
So I gave it 2 stars because it wasn't like the most horrible book ever, but it definitely wasn't good, and I would not recommend it.
Do not recommend.
Yeah.
The last book that I finished in August was Dust by Hugh Howey.
I read it too.
We both read this. And I think we both really like this series.
Yeah, I I think it was like a solid like 4-star series.
Yeah.
This is the 3rd book in the Silo
trilogy.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. There, like the ending was like not exactly what I wanted. I'd say like it was like mostly satisfying. I'd say
mostly,
but
I wanted more from it.
Yeah, me too.
You
but
know?
I still really thought it was a solid series.
Yeah, it was really good.
And also, Steve Alton needs to read this series and learn how to write women.
Yeah, because Hugh Howey does a really good job of writing women. But yeah, like I really liked it, and I agree with you. I think Hugh Howey did a really great job of writing women, and I think that it was nice to see a sci-fi book written by a man that was so empowering to women, I would say, or so like
definitely. Because I mean, the main, you know, there's many characters in the book, but who I would say is the main character is a woman, and
she's a badass.
Yeah, and she's
intelligent. She's
still flawed. Like she makes mistakes.
Yeah, she does, and she's still feminine. Like he doesn't take her and write a woman as a man, because that's one of my pet peeves is when it's like,
and this is a little bit of a trope that's also true in here, is that like, when a woman's supposed to be like powerful and cool, like she's always a mechanic.
Right. So that's
why is she always a mechanic?
Right.
And she still is in this book.
Yeah, she's a mechanic. But she does cry, and she does fall in love, and she does have some maybe stereotypically feminine things. But like I think that it's cool when when any writer really writes a woman who embodies kind of all characteristics.
Yeah, like she's a complex character.
Right.
She's not flat. Because I mean, I think most women do have some like stereotypical feminine.
Right.
You know, that's why they're stereotypes, is because
And I think that she wasn't a flat character. She wasn't just like the tough girl mechanic.
Right.
She was much deeper than that. Yeah.
So all in all, I thought this was a really good series, and I would recommend it.
Yes, most def.
Alright, and I finished 2 more books. One of them was an audiobook, and I listened to Lab Girl by Hope Jahren. I'm not sure how you pronounce her name. But I listened to the audiobook, and she narrates it herself, and it's her memoir about being a biologist. I don't even know.
She talked a lot about plants, right?
Yeah, so plants. She does plant stuff. What do you call that?
A botanist?
Botanist. Maybe that's it. She does science, though. And also, you know, just about her life as well. And this is one of those tricky ones, which is why I have, like, such a love-hate relationship with audiobooks, because I hated her narration of this. And it's like so hard to judge that because she's the author, so it's like that must be how she wants it to be read. Right. But it's like
at the same time, she's not like a performance artist or an actress, you know, so
she thinks she is. I don't know. To me, she put a lot of like emotion into it, and to me, and I've heard a lot of people say they love her narration, but to me it did not seem genuine. Like the emotion part, maybe it was, but I was just like, it seemed a little put on to me. But at the, you know, of course, I feel like maybe I can't really judge that, you know, accurately, but I did not enjoy it. Also, her voice is just like really soft and soothing, and it just made me want to zone out and go to sleep the whole time, and so I did not enjoy the audiobook. I actually thought about DNFing it, but for some reason I powered through. But it's like one of those things where like I don't really know how to feel about the book, because I think that I would have enjoyed the content had I read it myself. Maybe, maybe not, because I really am not into plants. So maybe I wouldn't have enjoyed it that much, but I do think she, you know, the stuff about her life was pretty interesting. I mean, being a woman in science, and also she talks about like her mental health issues. She had like a really hard time with her pregnancy because she couldn't take her medication while she was pregnant, and so, you know, I found that really interesting. I don't know, I liked her honesty, because I think a lot of times women are like, child, you know,
they glorify it a lot.
Pregnancy is beautiful and childbirth is beautiful, and I'm like, Not always.
Like it sucks to me, man.
Childbirth sounds like a nightmare.
Seems like a horror
and pregnancy
story.
also seems like a nightmare.
Yep.
So it was kind of nice and refreshing to hear a woman say, this was a fucking nightmare.
Fucking sucked. And I've had friends who've said it both ways. Like I have one of my friends is like she didn't like being pregnant. She was miserable. It was not great for her. Like being a stay-at-home mom sucked for her.
Yeah, and I think it's different for all women because like my mom always said she loved being pregnant. But then, you know, I know
one of my other friends hated it.
Yeah, I know people who are like, oh, I fucking hate being pregnant. I'm miserable. So it's different for everyone. But I feel like a lot of times I think the moms who don't have a good experience
kind of get shamed for
don't talk about it because they don't want to get shamed for it. But yeah, so I ended up giving it 3 stars just because, you know, like I said, I feel like the content was good, but I really disliked her narration of it. And then the last book I read was Sapiens by Yuval Noah Harari, and this is a brief history of humankind, and that's, you know, exactly what it is like.
It sounded really cool.
It was definitely really interesting, and it really gives you a lot to think about. Like, you could probably go through each chapter by chapter and like
do a whole review
because
of each chapter.
Yeah, there's so much stuff in here that I found really fascinating. I will say that I think the author maybe put a little bit, like, I feel like he put a lot of his, like, own opinions in it. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't love that, but at the same time, like I said, it was still really fascinating and gave you a lot to think on, because he had a lot of opinions, I think. It was also, like, a very pessimistic outlook of humankind. Like humans suck. Pretty much, yeah. Which, you know, I kind of agree, so.
Yeah.
But it was really fascinating, and I gave it 4 stars.
Very cool. I might have to read that at some juncture.
Yeah, and it was surprisingly a pretty quick read, too. Like, it's fairly large.
It's pretty big, yeah, but it looks really cool. I might have to check it out.
So that's it, right?
That's it, yeah. That's what we read in August. So I think we had a pretty good reading month.
Yeah. I read 10 books, I believe, which is quite good for me. Although a lot of them were pretty short.
Yeah, I read 7, but 4 of those were graphic novels. And, like, I'm still really struggling with, like,
counting them
as like a full book. Because, like, I don't feel like they should. I mean, I loved them, and I do feel like it was a good experience that I had with them. And, I mean, I still interacted with it.
I think you're overthinking it.
Like, I probably am.
Like, who cares, really?
Yeah. I mean, that's true. That's very true. But yeah, I just don't want to, like, seem like I'm inflating my numbers, you know, because I just got on a tangent with that. So
I feel like everyone counts graphic novels as
books.
As a book, you know, as a full book, though. So, like, I don't think I've ever seen anyone not do that. So,
okay, well,
I think it's fine.
Fuck it. Then I read 7 books in August.
Yeah, and Mr. Pumpkin.
It's alright.
Still not my favorite pumpkin, but it's pretty good.
It's pretty good. Maybe we should redo the Battle of the Pumpkin Beers this year.
Maybe.
And just go all out. Because, yeah, this one's not the best one. There's a lot of better pumpkin beers.
Yeah. I think 2 of the best ones are definitely the O'Fallon and the Schlafly.
Yes.
Those are some good pumpkin beers.
So good.
Let us know
what you read in August.
Yeah. How did your August reading go? Are you ready for Tome Infinity and beyond?
Because we are. Yeah, so there's going to be some links down below where you can find us elsewhere on the internet.
It's the most awkward ending.
Yeah, we always get awkward at the end. I never know what to do.
Yeah, we get awkward being like, subscribe. We should probably just stop saying it.
Yeah.
People will subscribe if they want to. If people know how subscribing works.
If you're into this, then, you know what to do.
If you're into all this.
Whatever this is. Then go ahead and,
subscribe.
Do the subscribing thing. But
click that notification bell, because apparently you have to do that now.
Oh.
Email YouTube and tell them that you want to be notified of our channel. write them a handwritten letter
to headquarters and let them know.
And let them know that
Shake
you want
hands with
notifications from our channel.
Yeah.
Get a skywriter.
Get a road flare and send it, shoot it up, but like, you know, let YouTube know.
Sacrifice a goat to the gods of YouTube and tell them to please
give you
send you your goddamn notifications for the channels you're subscribed to. Because apparently that's a problem.
Do you hear me, YouTube? We're gonna get banned for another month.
Probably. If we did try to monetize our channel, they'd be like, nope.
Nope. We say fuck way too much to get monetized.
Yeah.
And we drink, and also sometimes we sing songs. So.
Yes. Anyway, subscribe.
Subscribe to our channel.
And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.